There. Welcome to the Spiritual View. I am Angie from Learn Love Tarot, and I'm going to take us through as a preemptive to Dawn's full moon release tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do hope you will join us. And in preparation for that, you guys indicated that you would like to try a yoga class, just a little mini class or a little flavor, if you will, so that we can use our body and help our body release any energies that may not feel so great at this time. It's a wonderful way to nurture our body, mind, and soul, and to release and let go of, especially on a full moon, as the full moon is at the height comparative to the top of a roller coaster. Emotions are heightened, feelings are heightened, as far as intuitive hits. So if you have a lot of placements in the house of Cancer, wherever that is sitting for you in your personal birth chart, you're going to feel it. And if, like me, that sits in your 12th house, that is an exponential energy sitting there to increase intuitive guidance for yourself. So it's not, while it can feel difficult, it's not all bad when we can get still and we can get quiet. So, full moon and Cancer energy is all about connection, care, love. We're mothering ourselves, making our homes feel safe, secure, and joyful. And if you think about it, how a Cancer, an actual crab, moves is they kind of go sideways. Right. So maybe what we want to release and let go of are any ways in which we tend to go sideways at something. We beat around the bush or we talk around an issue. Transparency right now is key. And with Mars energy there as well, we want to make sure that we are really pausing and thinking before we respond rather than allowing a triggered reaction to come through unintentionally. Okay, so I'm going to take us through a restorative yoga class. And this will be for beginners. So even if you've never done yoga before, we're barely going to move up from the floor for our restorative practice today. So what we're going to do is go ahead and start to get settled and centered in our body with just our breath work. I can invite you to take your wrists to your knees, pressing your thumb and middle fingers together to help aid in focus. And all we're going to do here is observe our breathing and just notice the length of the breath that you are able to create with your inhale through your nose if you can. And slowly out through just your mouth for the first couple breaths to release any static energy that may be stagnant inside the body. Full breath in. Lion's breath out. 2 more. And 1 more breath in. And pause and hold at the top of the breath. And as slowly as you can, release that breath, dropping your energy in your mind's eye and just feel it in your body drop down to the very base of your spine, where we're going to picture the color red. And at this chakra, it is our root chakra, our foundation, where we feel stable, secure, where we generate our power. And these are going to mimic the roots of our own personal tree of life, the connectedness to all things before us in our life currently, and the legacy of those roots that will linger. And as you're breathing here, you might want to add a little bit of a squeeze internally for that root chakra to feel a little bit more stable and grounded. It also helps stabilize our spine and help us with our posture. And on the next breath in your mind's eye, we're just going to travel up the spine, just underneath the belly button to the sacral chakra. And we're going to squeeze here as if we were putting on a muscular seat belt. And then see if you can add on pulling in the lower back muscles, the piriformis, pulling towards the center of your spine. And note your breathing. We don't want to squeeze so hard that it shortens the breath. And just feel and notice where that breath is living in your body. And if you do feel that breath moving your chest up and down, we want to try to get into the diaphragm instead, where we can access the complete and full length of our lungs, representing Cancer energy, inflating all the way to the tips of the branches of our tree that will mimic our lungs. And if you're struggling to have that breath drop down a little bit lower, we're going to try a little bit of help physically with our hand breathing in, just to allow your chest to float. And on that exhale, just gently slide your hand down to the center of your rib cage, our own body's divining rod. And this is protecting our solar plexus chakra, where we use the rib cage as a divining rod towards our happiness, our joy, our connectivity. And then the next time we inhale, see if you can really relax the abdominal wall muscularly, inflating your belly towards your lap like a big ray of sunshine. And then we're going to use those internal zipper squeezes to exhale that breath all the way out and squeeze around the spine. And then finding a rhythm of a longer breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And simply by bringing that breath out of the heart center focus, we are lowering our blood pressure, slowing down our heart rate, our pulse. On the next breath in, moving from that sacral chakra up into that sunshine, really expanding as largely as you can with your diaphragm, and squeezing around the spine on your exhale out of your nose. On the next breath in, we're going to inhale up into the branches of our tree, imagining that that breath is reaching every single tip's branch or the branch's tips, inflating and deflating diaphragm underneath. On the next breath in, imagine that your own heart's cup and whatever design that your mind's eye brings you first. Notice the color, whether there's any design. Those are all little mini messages from our subconscious. And as we're inhaling, every breath of green light is filling up your heart's cup halfway, up to 3/4 of the way. And as your heart's cup fills to the top and starts to spill over with love, notice that that green light has turned into a bright pink. This is the love we have to share with others, the love of our time, energy, and internal resources. As we mother ourselves, we ensure that our own heart's cup is always full, and that is the first one to be filled before we're able to help others without depleting our own. Let's go ahead and pull that beautiful extra love, that hot pink energy in front of our bodies, breathing in. And as we exhale, opening our palms wide, expanding that loving energy, reaching our fingertips as far as we can. You may experience a little bit of tightness from the shoulder towards your elbow and the bicep area or the shoulders. Really reaching and extending, even spreading the palms. Breathing back, inhaling our palms prayer right at the throat chakra, seeing the color blue. And with our hearts, we use that heart energy with our fifth chakra of communication at the throat to speak to ourselves and others kindly and from a place of love, because we recognize our thoughts become things. On the next breath, let's go ahead and move up with our thumbs pressing to the third eye, right in the center of your forehead, and really drop your shoulders from your ears, extend your spine a little bit longer. If it helps, you can see or visualize the color purple or just feel it behind your thumbs. As you breathe in, imagine lavender light pouring into the tops of your fingers. And then as we exhale, we're going to see if we can pull behind the bridge of the nose, where we're going to access the pineal gland that houses our violet flame, our connection to our higher self. And this is the realm of Archangel Metatron. Breathing in and accessing lessons learned from this lifetime and all other lifetimes that are relevant to today's downloads, and any energetic healing that needs to take place, any ancestral wounds within our foundation, especially if we are unaware of them. Breathing in, we're going to form a heart with our fingertips, placing those fingertips on your forehead, relaxing your elbows towards each other. Take a nice deep breath in as you open that purple light across your forehead, like spiritual curtains tucking behind your ears, trailing down your jaw back into the heart chakra. Great angels and guides, ancestors of the highest white light, known and unknown, who love us all unconditionally and are helping us raise our own personal vibrations, so that as our vibrations raise, so do those around us. And one healed heart at a time, one family at a time, a group at a time, exponentially sharing that positive increase of light frequency, and therefore expanding and increasing the vibration of the entire planet. On the next breath, we're going to come up and out of the crown in your mind's eye and or with your hands, pulling light up and out of your crown chakra. And as we exhale, we're going to again take our arms as wide as we can, seeing white light in the shape of a sphere form around us, as above, breathing deeply. And exhaling, so below, finish your sphere underneath you and just let your knuckles relax on the ground or where you're sitting. And next, imagine that the archangels are surrounding our white light frequency with a golden light of protection so that any energies that are not meant for us or directed to us be bounced off and returned to sender. Any energies that will not benefit our highest good here individually, for our home, or collectively. Thank you for your protection. We're going to go ahead and bring our hands wrapped around our knees and start rolling our shoulders up and back. You might hear some fun Rice Krispie sounds and reverse the direction of the shoulders. And really taking those nice, long, deep breaths in and out. We're going to take the arms wide, reaching skyward. And as we exhale, leaning forward and either placing the heels of your hands to your lower back, or you can interlace your fingers and press your knuckles away. Tucking your chin, see if you like that sensation of stretching the back of the neck, its tendons and muscles as your shoulders feel a little heavier. Breathing in nice and slow. Exhale, let's add on that internal zipper as we stack our spine, lifting our rib cage, gently pressing the heart center forward, taking a full breath all the way to the tips of the lungs. And as we exhale, coming back down to that internal zipper, stacking the spine, releasing the shoulders and hands, and shaking out any static energy left on those fingertips. Next, we're going to go ahead and flip ourselves over into an all fours position. If you have any knee issues, you can make a small loop with your mat here, or some students keep a little miniature pad handy like the ones you might use for gardening. And we're going to bring our palms directly underneath our shoulder blades, spreading our fingers in a 5-point stars, zipping that internal lower belly lock to flatten that lumbar and slide those shoulder blades back away from our ears. As you inhale now, relaxing the abdominal wall, notice that the gravitational pull will just help increase the volume of breath you're able to inflate with. And as we deflate, we're just going to squeeze again around that parallel spine to the ground and sky. One more time, just like that. And this time on the exhale, continue squeezing around the spine, but arch the center of the spine up like a scared cat, like a little Halloween cat picture, really pressing into the palms if you are holding any upper back tension, and trying to keep the hips right above those knees in alignment. Like, take a nice deep breath in, lifting your chin. Tucking your chin, scooping up, pressing into the ground into cat pose. Inhale, lifting your chin, this time taking your backs of your hips with you, lifting up to the sky, and just allowing your back to arch slightly, just in a natural way without any pressure. A nice U shape of the spine. This pose is called cow. Again, we're still inflating and deflating the spine. On your exhales, we're going to pull up into that arched cat. And on the inhales, that U-shaped cow. Exhaling up into cat. Inhaling into cow. You can continue this for one breath each movement, or you can pause within each pose for around a breath. We're going to come into cat and cow one more time. Inflating back to that flat back position. Gently push your body weight back towards your heels. Relax your shoulders. We're going to walk both hands in and rotate our wrists, making inside circles. If you do a lot of typing, it helps to really spread your fingers, outside circles as well. And then we're going to go ahead and bring our mats back to that flat position. Breathing in once more. This time when we add that internal zipper, we're going to press our right foot directly behind us, lifting that heel to the height of your lower back and glutes. We're going to flex the foot, and if you do notice your toes turning out, you might have done a lot of dancing or cheering, but as you rotate your toes toward the ground, add another lower belly zip. And we're just going to tap the toes and lift up to the height of our glutes and just get some blood circulating through the hamstrings and quadriceps. If you are experienced with yoga and you've got a pretty stable core, you can feel free to add on your left arm, extending. Try to extend through the rib cage rather than any hyperextension of the shoulders. You can also exhale as a next step, bringing your elbow and knee into your chest, pressing and reaching out through your hand and heel. Breathing in on the reach and exhale, squeezing up into that cat position. Adding a little extra abdominal crunch. We're going to go ahead and bring both limbs back down to the ground, pushing our weight once again back toward our feet, re-rotating that balancing hand. Let's finish up on that other side. Back up to our all fours, inflating the diaphragm. Exhaling cat. Inhaling cow. And exhaling back to that flat back with that added zipper, inflating the diaphragm. On the deflate, start with the zipper and press your left toes directly behind you, lifting that back heel to the height of your glute, flexing that foot, and rotate all 5 toes to the ground, adding that little extra pelvic tuck. Let's go ahead and tap down and lift. And if your body is shaky or fatiguing sooner than we move towards the next position on, that is absolutely okay. Remember, we're releasing expectations and we're honoring the body wherever that may be today. If you'd like to add on, it's called spinal balance. And we're going to go ahead and extend that right arm. Try to get as much room as I could as possible here today. Continuing to tap and lift. And again, really reaching forward with that rib cage rather than hyperextending the shoulder. Breathing in as we press the heel and reach the rib. Exhale, adding on that extra third layer of that cat with the spinal balance work. Exhaling as we crunch in. Inhaling as we extend out. One more time. And let's bring all 4 limbs back down to the ground, sitting our hips back and re-rotating that balancing wrist. Really spreading the fingers. Now, if you do a lot of tapping, I think I shared this last time, but you can always press your fingers towards you and just add a little bit of weight to the heels of your hands. And if you are really sensitive here, that's probably all you're going to be able to bear. That's a pretty deep stretch. If you'd like a little bit more, it's ever so slightly rocking the body just about a quarter of an inch back of a line out of alignment with the heels of your hands. Coming back into center, let's go ahead and return our hands to the proper position. Bring one knee towards you so that you can swing forward to face the camera. We're going to go ahead and lay down all the way, not to sleep. Don't be disappointed. So we're going to go ahead and keep that bottom knee bent as like a bit of a kickstand. And then we're going to extend that top leg nice and long. And again, just see if it's more comfortable for you if your toes are turned out, or rather, once you start turning them to face forward, you really feel a tightness there. And we're just going to lift and lower. And again, wherever feels comfortable in that range of motion, as we start to move, those hip joints will loosen up a little bit more. And we want to try to relax the bottom shoulder using all just the lower abdominals here. And just squeezing that belly button towards your spine. You can add on lifting up, dropping the foot forward, swinging the heel back, and reversing that movement. Bringing that knee into your chest. Give yourself a really nice hug, sliding your hands down towards your ankle bone. You can rotate those ankles both directions. And then we're going to look down our body, bringing our knee in alignment with our hip bone and shoulder. If you are tight in your quadriceps and your hip flexors, your body might be saying that is quite enough, thank you. And that's okay. And we're going to add on by dropping that top shoulder, softening that back elbow, and pulling the heel a little closer if we're not feeling those quadriceps scream at us too much. Now, if you're pretty limber in those hip flexors and you'd like to add on, you're just going to go ahead and press forward through that top hip bone towards the long side of your mat. And let's go ahead and release that foot. We're going to cross that foot over the bottom leg and extend that bottom leg. And again, if you're supporting your head, you can look right down the body. We're going to bring our heel as close to above the knee as we can. And we're just going to gently start to press that knee away. If your toes will cooperate, you can aim them towards the short side of your mat. Really breathe through if those hip flexors are tight today. And if you'd like to add on from here, you can get a little deeper stretch, always taking that breath first. And on the exhale, we're going to pull that top hip bone forward. And you can say hello to your little friends, those adductors or your inner thigh muscles as well. And relax into that bottom glute. We're going to come back into that knee squeeze and angle the knee skyward so that as we exhale, we're going to visualize that breath coming down the knee on the outside of the thigh and dropping right into the back of our hip. So breathing in, and your little imaginary skier skiing down the outside of your thigh and dropping into that top glute. And release. We're going to go ahead and bring both hands back to the floor, press ourselves into a seated position, and we're going to bring our right knee to the short side of your mat and your left knee to the front portion or the long side of your mat. Gently take some fingertips to the side there, and then we're going to breathe in and really work the angles of our rib cage. We're just going to use our fingertips to gently turn our heart center and our rib cage, lifting the ribs up and out of the pelvis, adding the chin lift, releasing the jaw. And your upper body would be facing a 10 o'clock position. If you are on the other sides or mirroring me, that would be on your 2 o'clock position. On the next breath in, we're going to go ahead and use that left rib to pivot or rotate just a little bit more. See if your body will allow you to really separate that left rib from that right hip bone, like extending one side of an X. And for those of you who'd like a little bit more, you're like, give me some more of that hip flexor. I know you are. We're going to go ahead and reach that right hand up and turn our sphere into a beautiful white cube. And of course, surrounded by that golden light of protection. Opening up towards the sky with our heart center, giving that hip a little relief, taking a nice deep breath in. We're going to soften that back elbow so that we're not too jammed up there. We want to get our neck and our ears away. And then we're going to lift that same hip flexor up into the sky. It's called Rock Star. And whatever concert you are performing, know that you are that inner rock star whenever you want to be. Feel free to add on with that upper arm reaching up and over. Take a big, nice breath. And then just sweep that energy back down to the ground and rotate your body to the opposite side of your mat. And that might not be very far, and that's okay. There's really nothing fancy here. If you'd like to add on, you can reach back for that heel and ground your hips. Breathe. And add that lower belly zipper, but just rotate the top rib cage away from the bottom. Kind of like the two parts of a sand timer. Taking a nice deep breath in here. On the exhale, lean into your left hip or thigh, crossing that free leg right up over the top. Now we're going to lean into this right thigh and hip, and we're going to take our breath skier a little bit with a little bit more gravity this time. So we're going to give a good hug, take a good breath in, and in your mind's eye, see and or feel that energetic breath moving from the top of the knee down the outer thigh and into the hip. Now, if you're really tight here, you're probably feeling that lower lumbar portion of your spine. And just on the sides of the spine are called your erector spinae. And these get pretty compacted, pretty easy, pretty tight. Soften that grounded elbow if you'd like a little bit more. You can also pull up and away from the gravity dropping back into that hip. Let's inhale, press away from the ground. And as we exhale, we might need to scoop back just a little bit so that we can twist our belly button to kiss our inner thigh. And we're going to wrap that opposite elbow around the thigh, or a hand will do as well. And then we're going to see if we can really drop our hips forward towards that bottom heel and calf muscle, right, angling right down to that calf and the foot. every exhale is really helping the body release tension, open up flow. And with these lower chakras, again, roots and foundation of the sign of Cancer and home, we want to make sure that our back is very, very healthy. It has to carry us for an entire lifetime. So let's see if we can get both glutes to find the ground or as close to it as we can. Last breath here. And exhale all your weight into your roots. Stack your spine and slowly turn your belly button, then your rib cage, chest, and face back to a forward position. Feels better already. Let's go ahead and knock out that other side. I hope you are liking this beautiful act of self-care so far. Now, as you lay down, you can do this in just pieces as well, guys, or even just save your favorite parts. I like to hold my head so that I can check the alignment of my body. But if it's more comfortable for you to lay down on your bicep, please feel free. Let's go ahead and take that top leg extended from our hip line and our shoulder. Bottom foot is going to bend at the knee for our little kickstand. We're going to zip up the lower abdominals, really turning those toes forward as best we can, lifting and lowering. If we are a leg crosser, or if you happen to still wear a wallet in your back pocket and you sit on it, you most likely have hip misalignment just from little things like that. It's pretty amazing how the body tries to compensate, just like the universe. When our body's out of balance, our muscles try to compensate and balance our body for us. And when we create voids in space for the universe to bring in what it is we're manifesting, that helps the universe balance that energy as well. Let's go ahead and lift, drop your foot forward, swinging back. I always think of a quarter of a cheese wedge. I don't know why. Maybe I need to change it to a corner slice of cake. Let's go ahead and reverse that. You might notice or hear some fun Rice Krispie sounds. It's okay. Again, lower belly squeeze, bottom shoulder is relaxed. And you may want to do more or less on one side or the other. It's freestyle. You're the yogi. You get to choose. Yogi's choice. Let's go ahead and rotate that top ankle both directions, whatever feels good to you. We're going to angle that knee up a little bit higher so that gravity can roll back down to the outside of the hip. Nice knee hug, inhale, and exhale. Just feel that sensation of the weight traveling from where your hand is gripping down the outside of your thigh. And nice heavy exhale into the glute. Breathing in. Let's add that lower belly zip. Go ahead and cross that top foot to the ground. Extend the bottom leg. And then we're going to scoochie that heel back right above the bottom knee. And we're just going to gently start to press the knee open. If you are really tight here, this may be just about it. It only takes a couple fingers. Breathe. And if your hips and adductors are nice and relaxed, breathe in. Maybe those toes will turn themselves toward the short side of your mat. And if so, this heel is going to act as a little cantilever as you press your top hip bone forward. And just kind of notice if you are feeling tighter in one side of the body more so than the other. And that'll just be little areas of extra time and stretching on that side to try to realign the body. Inhaling and exhale. Let's go ahead and release back into the bottom hip. Just shift your weight. We're going to go ahead and take that top hand forward and your floor hand, just so that we can press up to a seated position, pulling your right knee forward and your left knee to the side, the short side of your mat. We're going to go ahead and take our upper body, just a little bit of a rib slide here as we bring our fingertips to the ground. Just make sure that knee is touching. Take a nice breath in. And we're going to go ahead and rotate our fingers and our heart center towards that 2 or 10 o'clock position, depending on which side you're on. And then as we breathe in, we're going to lift up through the rib cage and the chin if it feels good. Inflating and deflating. Let's zip that lower belly and stack our spine and return our head to a level position. Nice deep breath here. On the exhale, we're going to go ahead and gently twist toward our back foot. Your hands can just rest on the thigh. And if you're really all tight through here, you may notice again that just the range of motion is shorter on one side than the other. That feels pretty good. You can take the left hand to the left heel. Breathing in. And on that exhale, we're going to release. Almost forgot our rock star, didn't I? 2 or 10 o'clock. It happens. No pressure yoga today. Restorative, right? That back hand will find the ground, and if it feels good, you can reach up with that left arm or opposing arm and really extend as far as you can. Breath in, lower belly zips, and we rotate through that left rib until our heart's facing the sky, softening that bottom elbow and extending the heart center. Take your breath. Let's go ahead and push off the ground up into rock star. You can pause here, or you can reach that top arm up and over, naturally hinging at the elbow and just allowing your head to soften. And on your next exhale, gently sweep your hand and hips back down to the ground. And this time, since we have already stretched here, we're just going to cross that back leg over the cross leg underneath us. So we're going to lean into that right thigh and hip, getting that left glute up off the ground. Give yourself a good hug here. And again, that exhale is going to drop into the gravity position all the way down at the bottom of that glute. Take a nice full breath in. And your little imaginary skier of energy from that point of the squeeze of the knee towards your chest, exhaling down the outer thigh. Those are our abductors now. Hello. Now getting down in towards the piriformis territory, gluteus maximus, minimus, and medius for sure. All of the us's. Breathe, 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 especially if you're tight here. You can soften that bottom elbow, gently pull up and away with the knee against or opposite of the gravity. Let's press away from the floor. Take a nice deep breath. Bring your hands around the front of the shin. Scoop back if that helps to rotate your belly button towards your inner thigh. We're going to go ahead and use our elbow or just your hands to hug that thigh knee in towards our heart center. Breathing in, and again, this one feels a little bit different, but getting the same areas. Exhale down. And this time we're trying to press the pelvis down towards the bottom heel, calf muscle. But you can tell which is my tighter side. Breathe, breathe, breathe. See if you can get both glutes to land. Breathe in nice and full. And we're going to squeeze again at the root. Zipper, rotate your ribs, heart center, throat, and face. We're going to go ahead and uncross. And we're going to bring our feet into butterfly position. So that is both of our feet in prayer. We want to make sure that we're holding on to the ankle bones and never the feet. And here you can just feel a nice little relax in your spine. Just let your lumbar soften behind you. Watch your belly inflate. And as you deflate, we're going to lean back until our arms are straightening. And then we're going to lift the shoulders up on a little bit higher of an angle from where we are reaching from our knees to level our heads. Now your shoulders are probably giving you some resistance there on the outsides. Those are your deltoids. Breathe in. And if you'd like a little bit more pressure, you can press the heart center forward and lifting the heels, but leave those baby toes on the ground, especially if your arms and shoulders aren't holding any resistance. You want to try to increase the stretch. And for those of you who are like, I'm not feeling anything, you can float your feet off the ground and then even add a fourth add-on by pressing the shins away from your body. Nice full breath in here. And exhaling back to a seated position in any way that is most comfortable for you. And that can even be, especially if you have any knee issues, you can extend one leg and not the other. You can extend both legs with feet in prayer or just in a wide leg position. Really, it's however it feels best for you. Let's come back into that middle finger and thumb and return back to that inflate and deflate. Filling our lungs, maybe even hearing the leaves whistling in the wind or gently in the breeze or in time with the ocean. Just notice where in the world that your body would just like to float into. And once again, grounding at the root chakra, staying connected, feeling our groundedness, our power. And maybe even in red writing, see the words, I am powerful. I am safe. I am protected. Moving up above the root chakra, back into our orange sacral chakra underneath the belly button and inclusive of the sacral bone at the lower back, shaped like a triangle pointing down towards our feet. Inhaling and exhaling the color orange, releasing any false evidence that appears real. Our sacral chakra does store our fears, but it also stores our creativity and our passions. And that is one way that we can get out of a mindset of fear or worry. and into a theta state where time just seems to fly by. And that is without our knowledge. Hours can feel like mere minutes, which is what channeling feels like to me. Just mere minutes. And in orange writing, just see the words, I am creative. What I create is beautiful, abundant, and loving light of energy of my own frequency. On the next breath, we can lift and extend our rib cage, giving our diaphragm room for its sunny expansion of that solar plexus. Inhale, inflating the diaphragm, and deflating, squeezing all of the air out, staying in that slower breath. And when I ask the question, what would bring you joy in the next 15 minutes? Allow the first thing that floats into your mind's eye to just float in, just observe it. And then we'll make sure that we do that joyful thing or act, hugging our animal, a friend, a loved one, listening to a joke, dancing to a song, and doing some yoga poses to release any pent up energy that does not feel good. Inhaling up into the heart center, expanding the lungs once again. You can bring your hands to heart center. Nice deep breath here. Pulling that beautiful pink overflow. We've just filled our own cup of that green light of self-love, expanding our arms. And inhaling out to the very tips of every branch. And I want us to see with our solar plexus all the way opened up. I expand my joy. And I have a loving heart that I willingly fill my own heart's cup so that I can help others. Inhaling to Palms Prayer. Let's go ahead and breathe in, lifting the chin, releasing the jaw. Exhaling out of the mouth. If you feel any energy or static that still needs to release itself. Inhaling blue. Exhaling. And as we are still in this blue frequency of energy, you may see the words, I communicate lovingly to myself and others. Inhaling up into the third eye with or without pressure from your thumbs, softening of our face, shoulders. Inhaling that beautiful purple light, funneling down our fingers and into our third eye. Breathing in as we exhale, forming that purple heart, placing our fingertips on our forehead, relaxing our elbows, opening up those beautiful purple curtains and tucking that energy behind our ears, palms sliding back down into prayer. Exhaling, pulling behind the bridge of our nose. Maybe you see a violet flame. And here we can ask that Archangel Metatron bring us any symbols or messages, numbers, animals, for our best and highest good. And on this last chakra, reaching up through above our head into the crown chakra, exhaling that sphere of white light of all around us, our own energetic fishbowl, reaching out as widely as we can, as above. Exhaling, letting the knuckles fall to the ground, so below. Visualize that the archangels, or just feel it energetically as they surround your white light frequency in their golden light of protection. Bringing our palms back into prayer and understanding that our own vibrational energy is what we are offering others and what we are accepting in others. And being very careful to guard and protect our homes, beautify our homes, bringing care into our own personal habitats. The light in me welcomes and honors the light within you. And may this experience of a higher personal vibrational frequency within you remain until we meet again. Namaste. Thank you so much, spiritual viewers, for being here with me today and for trying out. If this is your first time ever doing yoga, then thank you today for trying something new. Hopefully that wasn't too far out of our wheelhouse and you now feel an energetic uplift. That's what we speak about when we talk about raising our vibration. And we can even do that in 5 minutes just with our breath work. So again, thank you again. We all love you all very much. Thank you so much for your support. From the highest high. We truly mean it. We love you so much, and please join us in just a little bit as we join Dawn live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the full moon release ritual. Thank you again.